Give us a rundown of where you've been since you left Rhodey.
Since I left Brody, um, that summer I played in Vegas for the summer league, and then I started my season in Lithuania, Neptūnas, a Euro Cup team. It was a great level. Uh, at the end of the season, I was given an opportunity to play in Greece. So me and my agent decided it's a better move for me to move to Greece. So I'm now playing in Greece for like now a year and a half. And while in Europe, I got a chance to play in Europe, which we played against teams in Turkey, in Germany, in Italy. Where else? Somewhere else, Greece a few times. All like flew main countries in Europe.
And there are a lot of Americans on
Oh,
these teams, right?
Yeah, every team has at least 4 Americans, and Greece will accept a new rule that a team can own 6 Americans. So basically, half of the team will be Americans, and like lots of times, like last year, I played for Latvia, sorry, for Latvia, and that team had 2 guys that I known since college days, and I get to play against other teams that I played against the guys that I played against in high school or college. So it's kind of being like in the States, you know.
Well, you must have an advantage because you know the rest of the world. A lot of Americans have never been anywhere, so at least you have a feel for that, right?
Yeah, to me, there's no cultural shock. There are some Americans that come here and like it's still like it's different, not as comfortable living as in the States, even like hotels and everything. So for some are tougher to adjust, but some takes it great, and it depends on the person. I feel like the upbringing or something.
All right, I want to ask you about the competition level, but first, how about you as a player? All these experiences, what has it done for your game? If the URI fans saw you play right now, compared it to your senior year at URI, what would they say?
And they will see a very confident, way more confident guy. Uh, kind of mature more as a player. I mean, I'm supposed to mature. I'm 25 now. Uh, the game slowed down for me. I would think they will see a different kind of player, which it should be with this.
What do you work on the most? What in your mind is your where you still need some work?
Well, uh, I'm a power forward, and in the States, a power forward or center is not a big difference. They both kind of go on the blocks interchangeably. Um, and in Europe, if you're a foreman, you either have to be a stretch forward who can shoot, or a stretch forward who's a great driver who can take forwards off the dribble. So I'm doing a great job at taking other forwards off the dribble and making defense uh, help, and then I kick out to great shooters, or just finish my drives. And at the same time, on my time off, I'm working on just being a great stretch forward. I need to get better at my shooting. I'm not stable. So, but I mean, there's a Steph Curry went over 10 from three. So everybody has it.
Well, you're still a young guy. What's the dream?
I mean, hey, if you play basketball and you don't dream to make it to the NBA, I think you should not play basketball. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that can be achieved in Europe that can give a great life. So I'm shooting for the stars and see where I'm going to land.
I have to ask you about your special relationship with Coach Dan Hurley. Um, Everybody knows about it. It's been written about. It's been publicized. Now here it is, a couple of years later. How often? When was the last time you talked to Dan Hurley?
I mean, I saw that early in the summer. I actually got to work out with him. I saw the team. So that was the last time we talked. I told him to get WhatsApp, which is the main way to talk when you're overseas. But I talked to him through Coach Carr, Eric Yankowski, um, now that he's on the coaching staff. He's no longer a player there. So I sent him messages.
All right, this team now, because EC got hurt last year, it was so sad and it was so tough. They have a lot of depth now, and really, barring a lot of problems, they're going to have the best year they've had in many, many years. Give me a feel about this team.
I mean, so I had a feel that they improved a lot and everything. Before going to see them in the summer, I got there and I was really in awe. I knew that Hassan will continue progress. I saw pictures before getting on campus that DC is moving and shooting. I was really happy for him. And I got on campus. I saw how he's doing. He's 80%. And in the first workout, I realized that it's a lie because he was dunking like he was, like he was fresh. So I was really happy to see that Hassan is just taking over a workout when he decides to. And Jarvis also, like he left a great impression. Like he grown so much. It's just that I don't know. I admire all my freshmen.
Well, let me go through a couple of names. All right, EC Matthews. What? Give me your feel for his game.
He's he's a guy that is always in the gym. Like you cannot beat him because he's always there. If you hear a ball bouncing in the Ryan Center, you know that's DC who's bouncing the ball. So he can't be. He's just gonna improve regardless because he's always in the gym. He has that much hunger. I don't know what he has. He has some special special dedication to the game.
Jarvis Garrett.
This guy, he's mature. He's a father now. I think kind of transformed him. I saw him as a young and coming in the game with ambition. I know he came in a team and he didn't have a starting spot right away. Which is, hey, it's just a matter of time. I'm going to start. And we were teammates, but he wanted to get that spot. He got the spot while I was there. Now I came back. He's definitely one of the leaders.
Now, some of these guys you only saw probably for a few minutes, but how about Cyril?
I, he's a good guy. He works hard. I worked out with him as well, so I got to see him. He's a good guy. He's working, and I know that he'll be great for her.
Jeff Dowden.
He's mature for his age. He's really mature. I like his game. He's was more working more with guards. I didn't get to play against him too much, but I like his maturity about the game.
Now, you already talked about Hassan. How about Stanford Robinson? Did you get to meet him?
Yes, I feel like if when everybody graduates, my generation with whom I played, although I met Stan, it was my first time really like meeting him like that and playing basketball. Like he's the to me he's the next DC. That's how I see Stan. I mean that's how much faith I got in Stan.
Mike Lasad.
Mike, I didn't see him much before I got here, so I can't compare how much he improved and everything. But they're pushing him hard, so I know that he will get better. He's young, he has all the time in the world, so I'm curious to see where he's gonna end up.
A lot of fans can't wait to see how Iverson matures from last year because he's got such upside. What do you think of him?
I love his game. He can do it all. He participated in Under Armour. He did well. He stays after practices, after workouts. So the sky's the limit for him. He's tall, he's long, he's athletic, he's talented.
Now, I got a couple of questions from the forum that I'm going to throw at you, but I want to ask you, is there anything you wish you did differently at Rhode Island?
That I do differently. Um, I don't know. I don't really regret stuff. I feel like I did a lot of. I wish I failed less. That's what I wish.
All right, let me give you a couple of kind of funny questions. All right, first of all, the guys on the forum board want to tell you that they still love you. You've been, the fans really appreciated you always, Gilvydas, not only for your game, but for the type of guy you were and how you interacted. And they want to ask They already know what your favorite Tupac song is, but they wanted me to ask you anyway.
Oh man, it really depends on the mood. You know, if I'm going to a game and I really need to win and be ready for war, I can't listen to Dear Mama before such a game. You know, I have to play something more fire, more fire.
All right, how about
Go
um,
first.
one guy asked if you, when you get to the campus, what was your favorite off-campus food joint, and what was on the menu for that you used to eat?
There was Ice Slice and Chinese spot, which I used to call I China or I Slice. So both of those spots were my favorite.
How about
Yes,
Butterfield?
Chinese
Did you eat in the dining hall?
Butterfield. I used to eat at the dining hall, but I wouldn't go to Butterfield. I mean, I know Coach Shirley used to call me all kinds of names so for trying not to eat fried food, but I will go to a different one. I will go to Hope, which I will call Hopeless Place, Hopeless Commons.
ATP wanted me to
But
ask
I
you,
miss that. I mean,
how did the pro teams that you played against stack up against some of the best college teams that you played for when you played against when you were a Ram?
um, you know, athleticism in the States is way better, I think. But still, we have Americans that play here in Europe as well. So those Americans also athletic, but it's just maturity. You can be 30-year-old and 32 years old and still be dominating the game because they're so smart. Every move is so sharp. No wasted nothing. On in college plus the 35 now 30 I think seconds right on a shot clock.
So the game's
The game is
faster.
literally here.
Well,
Yeah, faster.
let me ask you a personal question before we wrap it up. I mean, uh, everybody knows that you were brought up without a dad for most of your life. You've had some Rutgers experiences. You followed Dan Hurley. You had a good college experience for a couple of years at URI. How happy are you, man?
Oh, I'm happy. I always want to be a professional basketball player. My first season as a rookie it was tough, but that's what rookies go through in Europe. And now I'm fine. I'm in Greece, where you want to be. The like you can make huge money here in Europe. Of course not compared to NBA, but you can have a great life. And I'm on a team that is exposed to the teams that I want to be exposed. Starting, so I'm happy with my life right now.
Toughest team you hated to play. Now you can say things, Gilvydas, because you're not at Rhode Island anymore. What team did you dread? You couldn't even sleep when you knew you were going to
What
play them.
happened there?
What team did you hate to play?
It's funny. It wasn't even a Rhode Island. Uh, it was a Rutgers days, but not the team. I know what team. UMass always wanted to beat them real bad. So that was one team in Providence. Those two teams always wanted to beat.
Well, last question for you. If you could tell all the Rhode Island fans who followed you all this time one thing, what would you like to tell them?
Thank you for all the support, and I apologize for if you read my blog. I apologize for all the that. But thank you for reading that if you did, and just continue to yell go